recording.
How you doing, America? My name is Feather, James Cody Feather, and I am about to vote for federal law reunification of children back to families, victim services not provided by the state, which is our federal funds. Now, all the United States is depriving parents of victim services that we pay for, which is our federal dollars. Children Protective Services isn't providing these funds we already pay for. Instead, they're covering up trauma conditions and post-traumatic stress in parents and CPS cases to take kids into a foster care program for a free adoption, which affects orphans everywhere. Now, this explains why we have such a crowded foster care system. If you can't bear children, you can enable your own family member to target a free adoption, because it's all about personal interest and political gain. Now, all these senators and congressmen, they don't realize that people with disabilities are easy targets. People with developmental disabilities like ADHD also affects orphans because they're easy targets. Families enabling family members to target free adoption who cannot bear children and cannot afford to adopt. Bill and Hillary Clinton are extorting Children Protective Services into foster care system. The Independent Foster Care Act in 1999, signed by Bill Clinton. This is a loophole for families to enable children to receive free education. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Again, they're still enabling in and out of your life when they turn 18. So you can forget about them turning 18. You'll never know your child. Next but not least, this is targeting our younger youth for political gain and our personal interests as follows. Disability rights is enabling CPS Children Protective Services to break up families for profit by not representing people with developmental disabilities in the CPS cases connected to the foster care program to get a free adoption. CPS Children Protective Services covers up post-traumatic stress and emotional trauma and deprives parents of due process and a mistrial. You can't justify emotional action because we are all different. Our children are at risk. At risk.
At risk.
What are we going to do about that, America?
Need to do something.
Now, we got abuse of power. This poor guy over here has a sad face. Well, he's really unhappy right now. Lori Boyd, out of Austin, Texas, can't bear children. And she's been fostering my children for the last 17 years. Well, no, I'll take that back. Sorry, I say 15 years. Fostering my children. She got an extension out of 2008 when she was allowed to foster them all the way up until my son was almost 18 years old before she adopted him for free. She got all that foster care money. She works in the federal court building. She's the aunt on the mother's side of the family. The mother gave up her parental rights, but still sees the child. This again is called enabling. And I want to say right now that if I was to not have anything to do with my child because of this, I would not be held accountable by God. I will be forgiven because I choose not to enable. I forgot to tell American people that this is me right here. I've got a medical condition where they never prevented. Never prevented. I ended up on disability. Victim services not provided by the state. And now your tax dollars have to pay for it. Because there was never a prevention. And now they're holding this prevention until 2021 to affect our federal dollars by breaking up families for profit to give free education.
Uh,
And here we go. Here's some targeting our younger youth right here. Here's Jana Duty. Here's a great picture of her. Jana Duty, former county district attorney. She withheld evidence on my case for political gain. She was found dead in 2016, committed suicide, so the media said. But she withheld evidence from many other cases, even murder cases. And then we've got the prosecutor that was on my case, which I don't have her listed, but she also moved up in the ladder. She now does family law and CPS cases and charges. No longer works for the county attorney's office. Now we got the Attorney General, Greg Abbott, who was former Attorney General, is now governor. Federal judge in Texas foster care suit scolded CPS leaders for withholding information. And this all includes Greg Abbott was involved with this before he became governor of Texas. Again, this is all political gain. And he was also over my case. Then we got William Joseph Dubin. He's the same psychologist. He misdiagnosed me. He on healthcare fraud. He got sentenced 5 years in prison for healthcare fraud. Kickback scheme. He had got a kickback scheme off of my case with healthcare fraud by covering up emotional trauma and post-traumatic stress by saying I was bipolar. Found out I wasn't even bipolar at all. They used the mother's diagnosis to say I was. Again, they're using the mother to say I'm unfit to take care of a child. This is extorting Children Protective Services into a foster care system to adopt them out for free, affecting orphans everywhere. And this chart right here, all these little magnets indicate how much trouble we're in right now. All these federal dollars are being affected by targeting our younger youth for political gain, by putting it on hold, without reunification, without prevention. So more and more parents will end up on disability where your tax dollars have to pay for it. And now Nancy Pelosi wants to cut Social Security to pay back that stimulus check. So when they cut that $1,000 stimulus check, they want to cut Social Security to pay that back, but she wouldn't prevent, and she wants to put 38 states on hold for prevention. And now that was the deal that Trump made when he signed the Family First Prevention Act. He signs that, the Democratic Party comes forward to support it and saying, okay, we're going to put these states on hold until 2021 because you agreed to it, so we're going to support your family first if you put these states on hold. That affects our federal funds. We certainly need to get to the bottom of this because now they're putting cannabis on hold. Democratic Party is putting that on hold because of the virus going on. So the virus has nothing to do with legalizing marijuana. It has nothing to do with it. Now let's talk about symbolism. Okay, symbolism. I was born on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, January 15th, 1978. January 15th, 1929. Martin Luther King Jr. reunited families back together. We're all brothers and sisters. If you want to just call it civil rights, then yes, you do live in the past. Because again, he was more than that. My children were born 10/4/420. 10/4 means all clear. 420. And stress is the leading cause of violence. Because you can't justify emotional action. Everybody is different in every possible way. And now my real last name is Feather. But I go by Hatton now. And I was adopted by my stepdad, who I consider my real father. He was a very good father to me, raised me up right, responsible, very strong. And now I look to redemption. And redemption is what we should all be about right now. Redemption and forgiveness. You know, but you can't forgive unless you redeem. You got to redeem first. You got to accept your consequences and your actions. Now, let's go ahead and stop for a second.